This is Binghamton Now on News Radio 1290 WNBF Binghamton and WNBF.com.
That is the name of the host, and you are here to enjoy Binghamton Now and add to your experience. Call us at 607-772-1290. WNBF! And top of the morning to you, the WNBF live and local talk program is underway, and we are so pleased to be here. It's been a busy week. Today is going to be another busy day with the prospect for additional November surprises. So if you're sensitive, if you're troubled by breaking news and thoughtful commentary, you may wish to consult with an expert about whether this is the type of show that you can handle. If you can handle the truth along with some opinion, this probably is the program. A cautionary note, however, this program differs from other radio talk shows. So you may in fact hear people with views that differ from your own. The program originates from a secure facility somewhere in New York State, and we offer you some insights and some things that you may find useful. So, with that in mind, let us proceed with enthusiasm. I don't want to get started on the wrong foot, but got to talk about the man in the news, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the man of the hour. And everywhere you go, people are talking about RFK Jr., and this is going to be no exception. You have to accept it. You don't have to like it. You have to accept it. The people have spoken. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is in the headlines. Matt Gaetz, also in the headlines. Tulsi Gabbard, also in the headlines. These are all great characters. So, with that in mind, now we don't know how the Senate ultimately will handle some of the more controversial choices of President-elect Donald J. Trump, but it will be interesting. This puts a lot of pressure on the Senate, because the Senate has a very, very important responsibility. The task ahead is to weigh every cabinet appointee, all the prospective people who will be running the fine swamp. You want to make sure that they are the best we could possibly have. So when you think about it, with the names of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Matt Gaetz, and Tulsi Gabbard, of course, a lot of people automatically come to the conclusion, yes, these are the best and the brightest to be in charge of the American swamp. Now, there are people who think that the swamp is going to be drained. I must sadly inform you, it's not going to happen. The swamp will remain 4 years from now. Maybe different people in charge of the swamp continues. So if Dan Bongino is listening, or anybody else who somehow is under the impression the swamp is about to be drained, no. New people in charge of the swamp will outlive us all. It's 9:15 WNBF. Let us go to the phones. Good morning, you're caller number one. Congratulations, you made it through. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Bob Bongino.
Hey, good morning, Bob. How are things?
All right. I got a message for you liberals. We won. I want you to keep quiet about these picks. There's nothing you can do. They're going to drain the swamp. We're going to straighten this mess out that Joe Biden and Kamala. You know, I can't believe. I see these people like Newsmax plays clips of these people. I don't know why they do it. It drives me nuts. I don't want to look at these people. I don't want to hear them. Oh, Joy Reid. You know, who cares what? Did you see the CNN's ratings and MSNBC ratings dropped 60%? You better watch it, Joseph. Who owns that? Who's the big conglomerate that owns your... If ratings keep going down, there's not going to be no CNN. I'd love that.
CNN will always exist. CNN will outlast the Fox News channels.
No way, pal. It's a new world. Hey, I'm not going to get mean today. I got a story for you. About a month ago, I went over to the Endicott Library, and I said, God, I haven't been up to Round Top in ages. I'm going to go up there. They got a viewfinder now you can look through. Vestal High School looked like it was like right there. I mean, that's how good this thing is. Like binoculars, it's like one of them things. So I'm looking through that, and I walk up to the top pavilion, and I see there's a big hole there, and there's concrete forms in there. What are they putting in there on that side hill? When you're up to the top and you look down, there's a big, where the excavators come in there.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like they're getting ready to put a garage or something in there for some reason.
It's a special project
by
an Eagle Scout.
I start walking down in my truck, and this guy pulls in, and he's walking over. I go, hey, you know what they're doing there? He looks at me, he goes, are you Bob from Vestal? Yes, I am. And then we talk, and he goes, you know, I'd like to call there, but I'm not one to do that. He says, my dad bought a hotel over in Endicott, and I think Bob Joseph was our paper boy. He goes, he was a couple years older than me and my sister, but I remember him with his little collection book.
Yeah,
and
with those little...
Yeah, I remember that.
With those little things that you had to tear out of the collection book.
I remember paying the paper boy for my parents, and the guy would hand me the tab, and we'd put it somewhere to prove we paid it. But, yeah, I go, call him. Come on, you know, I'm embarrassed or something. I said, why? Just call the guy and tell him. I thought I'd tell you that because he would.
Yeah. But I appreciate it. Well, I mean, those were good times for me. That's when I got into the lucrative journalism business.
Yeah, but what hotel? What?
I don't know. That's what I'm mystified. I kind of think I know maybe the person that you're describing, but I don't remember that person or the family buying a hotel. That's why I'm a little. Maybe if I spend a little time, I'll jog my memory.
Well, maybe he'll call.
Or maybe he'll call. If he's listening, I hope he calls because I enjoy delivering papers on that section of East Main Street and down Mercero Avenue, and I think I had one or two houses on East Edward Street, so down near Mercero Park.
Yeah, wasn't there a small hotel right on East Main Street?
Wow, there still is. There's a motel.
Maybe that was
the Townhouse Motel over at the corner of East Main Street and Liberty Avenue, but I don't recall anybody on my paper route getting involved in that, although they could have, and maybe I just didn't know.
Yeah, maybe he'll call because he heard me.
Well, I appreciate your call, and
I'm trying to be nice.
Well, sure,
you guys, come on, we put up with the nonsense of your.
Well, of course.
For 4 years now.
I know. It's time for the all new Bob Show, the Bob Show, starting Monday.
Let these people get in there and see what they can do.
Everybody should call us now.
I heard somebody call here and talk about John Bolton. Who cares what John? He's the most backstabbing person.
I gotta say, as a singer, he really wasn't that talented. He was overrated. I mean, I know he had some top 10 hits. John Bolton.
No, not that. You know who I'm talking about.
He had a lot of hits, especially on the easy listening channels.
You know what I'm talking
about.
Bolton with the mustache.
I know.
Trump.
John Bolton, he's an American hero.
No, he isn't. He's a backstabber. He sucked up to Trump. He put him in there, and then he stabbed him in the back.
Oh, but that's half the fun. It's all... Look, Donald Trump and John Bolton, at the end of the day, like around 4:30 or 5, they're all going out to the Capitol Grill and having wings and beers. You know it. That's the way it's done. Everybody is playing a character.
No, that's the swamp, and we're going to do...
Oh, and by the way, not to burst your bubble, the swamp, as I said right at the outset, my opening remarks, the swamp will outlive us all, Bob.
I don't think so.
It'll be a different kind of swamp with new swamp leaders, but the swamp will exist.
Oh, okay, here's an example. How many people you think are down in Washington right now driving $100,000 Mercedes, doing nothing for their money? Elon and that guy are going to get in there and say, no more of that.
Can you get a message to Elon?
I love Elon.
Well, of course. He, too. He's not an American treasure because he wasn't born here.
Him down.
I didn't cut him down. I'm just saying the truth. He is from a different country. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but Elon Musk wasn't born here. He wasn't like you and me, Bob, good Americans who were born here in the USA. Elon Musk wasn't.
A big deal. A lot of people weren't. Look at Soros. That guy is...
George Soros, he too is another American treasure.
Why is he still around? Wouldn't the CIA be able to...
I hope he buys more radio stations. I hope he buys the Fox News channels.
You won't be on anymore if he does.
What, you think George Soros would fire me?
No, because you're on his side. That's right.
Yeah, I'm on no one's side. I'm on the side of the people. Bob, I'm on your side.
Right. You say that, but... All right.
All right.
See,
hey,
that was nice today.
I know.
Well, I mean, some of these people, sometimes I don't think it's really you. It's other people.
It's other people. It's the other people that make the show so negative. It's not the host.
Leave it. Yeah, but you agree with them, and then you argue with
it's just to be nice. It's just to make the thing interesting. Because if it's not interesting, who would listen?
I think I set it off good.
Okay. I'll see you this weekend at Round Top. Take care. 9:23. We have a great cast of characters here, and everybody plays their role so well, including Bob Bongino from Vestal. It's 9:23 right here at News Radio, WNBF, America's favorite radio station. In my dreams. My dreams. Wouldn't it be great? America's favorite. What? Bigger than WABC? Bigger than 1010 Wins? Bigger than WTOP? Yes. The biggest and the best. In my dreams. WNBF 92.1 FM, 1290 AM, streaming at WNBF.com. Pleased to welcome back to our program Binghamton Police Officer Chris Marshall. It is that time of year. The Toys for Tots program is getting underway again. Morning.
Good morning, Bob.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So, I know this is really, really a busy time as you get things organized again and then work to start to spread the word about the program and how it's going to work this year. This has been something that Broome County police agencies and volunteers have been doing now for decades. So this has become a local tradition for the law enforcement community in the Binghamton area.
Yeah, this is our 62nd year in Broome County running Toys for Tots. So it's my 7th year running it. Looking forward to it.
So now, after several years, you're starting to really get the hang of it. I'm sure the first year or two was more or less a learning experience and getting comfortable with trying to coordinate the different agencies and everything that has to be done to make the Toys for Tots program a success.
Yeah, the first couple of years was really difficult, but as you do it, the longer you do it, the easier it gets. So I see
you have a new a new headquarters this year. It's a place I'm familiar with. It used to be where the Johnson City offices were up until a little over a year. I think it was maybe a year and a half ago. They transitioned their offices over to Leicester Avenue, but this year the Toys for Tots headquarters is right in the heart of Johnson City.
Correct. The Village of Johnson City was gracious enough to donate the space of their former village offices again this year. So it's going to be the second year that we're back there. It's 243 Main Street, Binghamton, but you have to go around the back side to the municipal parking lot. That's where it's going to be the entrance.
Yeah, if you go back there, you'll see what used to be a drive-up window for when it used to be a bank.
Yep, that window's still there.
Yep, I think it brings back old memories, because I remember when that was a Marine Midland Bank, and and every Marine Midland bank seemed to have that kind of setup with one or two drive-up windows. So sort of a throwback to yesteryear, but it is a central location right in the heart of the Triple Cities.
Yeah, it's right there on the bus lines, and it is interesting being inside that building because the bank vault is still in there.
I was in Mayor Maney gave me a tour of the place about 6 months ago and went inside the bank vault. Did you have a chance to feel how heavy the door is to that vault?
No, I wasn't messing around with that door.
No, don't mess around, because if somebody accidentally gets locked in there may not be, I don't know if the village has access to whatever it is, the combination or key.
Yeah.
They do. If you ever get locked in there, though, they do in the back, they have a little thing, a ventilation thing that you can turn on. So if you're stuck in there for a year or two,
you can fresh air.
Yeah. Theoretically, but it was put in back in 1933, so I'm not sure if it still works. I wouldn't want to test it. But that door, according to Mayor Maney, probably weighs over a ton.
Oh, my gosh.
You could barely, so it's not going to accidentally close. Yeah. And, I think he estimated it could be 2,000, 2,500 pounds. It's the heaviest door I've ever tried to move.
It's a big door, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then the other interesting thing about what used to be the old bank lobby, it looks like a throwback to a different era, because with the colors, I don't know if that's turquoise or whatever the color is in the lobby area that had been the bank, it looks like something out of maybe a 1960s TV show.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
All the teller lines still there. And
Yep, it's fascinating. So anyway, the Toys for Tots headquarters will be there at 243 Main Street. Now, the sign-up for this year's Toys for Tots will be getting underway in a couple of weeks, early next month.
Correct. December 2nd is going to be the first day of sign-ups, and we're going to run them through the 14th. And our hours are going to be 9 a.m. to noon and 1 to 4 Monday through Friday, and then 9 to noon on Saturday. And then again this year, we're going to do the extended hours on December 4th and 11th from 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. to give the working families a opportunity to come down and get some help too. We don't want to leave them out, so it's really important.
Let's talk about how people in the community can support the Toys for Tots program.
So we're going to have the collection barrels out starting this coming week. If you would like to drop off a gift, new unwrapped gift for children between 1 and 10, you can drop it in any of the barrels. Any of the police departments, they'll all have barrels out too. Or you can come right to our headquarters at 243 Main Street in Johnson City, drop off there. We also will be doing several events throughout the community. We're going to have the Fill the Cruiser event. That's going to be December 7th down at the Vestal Walmart. That's a great event. Have all the local agencies there with their police cars. You get to stop down, look at the cars, talk to the officers. It's a really great community event.
So donations will be accepted for a period of a few weeks. I see the donation deadline is December 20th.
Yeah, we like to get them in by then, but we really accept donations year-round. We're never going to turn away a donation. If you want to mail in like a monetary donation, you can mail it to 38 Hawley Street, which is the Binghamton Police Department, City Hall, and just direct it towards Broome County Toys for Tots.
For people who will be planning to register for this year's Toys for Tots program starting December 2nd, what are some of the things they need to know? Because they definitely have to meet certain criteria.
Correct. So you have to be a Broome County resident. So the only requirements that we have is that you bring a photo ID and your child's birth certificate and something that says that you live in Broome County.
Is there anything else people should know as you really get moving forward with the Toys for Tots program this year?
I think it's going to be a busy year for us this year, especially with the way the economy is. A lot of families are struggling just to put food on the table. So we're here to help those families and be able to give the children of Broome County a nice holiday.
Well, it's an important program. I'm glad you have taken a few minutes to let our listeners know about it, and I'm sure they're going to be happy to, again, support the Broome County Toys for Tots program this year.
Yes, this community is outstanding. The support that we get from the community is unbelievable. So we'd like to thank everybody that donates every year, and thank you.
And thank you, Binghamton Police Officer Chris Marshall. Thanks. I'll see you around.
Yes, you will.
Oh, always do. When you least expect it. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
It's 9:33. You're listening to Binghamton Now on WNBF. Let's go back to the phones on this Friday. Gary from Binghamton's West Side. Good morning.
Good morning, Bob. When you were delivering newspapers, Bob, hopefully your mother was riding behind you in a car following you, make sure that nothing happened to you. Is that correct?
I know what you're talking about now. I heard that story. I heard it first early this morning on the radio. Then I saw ABC TV on their early news had a bit of an interview with the mother in this case. Tell our listeners, in case they haven't heard the story, basically what happened with this mother of a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah. So she's at home. She homeschools the boy. This is in Georgia. And he doesn't tell her, but he's going to take a walk and go to the dollar store to get something. So, they live in a safe neighborhood. And he goes, and I guess as he's on the way there, I don't know all the details, somebody stopped him and said, "Hey, is everything okay? Are you okay?" And he said, "Yeah." And so he went on his way, and that person that spoke with him called the cops, and the cops got involved. And the next thing you know, they're arresting her for, I don't know, what was it, disorderly conduct? I'm not exactly sure what she got arrested for. But
let me look at the charges. This is from WSB TV. That's a station in Atlanta. A woman's name is Brittany. She's 41.
Has 4 kids.
Yeah. And so the deputies searched the area for the child. They found him on Railroad Avenue, a little over a mile from his home. Deputies said he seemed to be confused as to what was going on, and when asked where he lived, he pointed in the direction of Highway 60. Hold on. This is a longer story than I thought.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to page down to see. Oh, she was charged with reckless conduct.
Reckless conduct.
Because her 10-year-old son walked a little over a mile into town in what seems to be an area not noted for being particularly dangerous.
Right. Yeah, he went through the woods and stuff. Bob, I used to play in the woods when I was 10 years old.
Well, when I was growing up in Endwell,
come on,
we would leave, especially in summer. We might leave at 8 o'clock and not come back into the house till 5, and nothing bad ever happened. Now, something bad could have happened, but fortunately for me and my friends, nothing bad ever happened. We would go.
Your mother told you don't get in cars with strangers.
Right.
And
we already, even though people think common sense is dead, it's not really. Even today, most parents teach their kids common sense. As far as, if somebody says, "Hey, Bobby, want some candy?" You say, "No, thank you." And if the person persists, then you find an adult, or these days, if you have a phone, you'd call 911 and say, some guy is trying to give me candy and I don't want any or whatever. But yeah, it's an intriguing case, and so
and
she
the
was.
mother didn't know that the son left, and
Right.
when she got back, she kind of scolded him for, hey, you're not supposed to take off without telling me where you're going. All of this. The mother was very responsible. It's just we have now where you got to be helicopter parents.
Well, I
kids
know.
got to learn for themselves.
I know there are real dangers out there, and certainly if something had happened to the 10-year-old boy, and the mother, of course, would feel devastated if something bad happened to him. Nothing bad happened, and no, I'm not suggesting the sheriff's department in Georgia shouldn't have checked on his welfare and maybe looked into the circumstances, but it seems, based on what's been reported so far, that it was unnecessary to charge her.
I agree with that. And this is not an isolated case. This is happening around our country now, where other people, and I get it, people are concerned. They see somebody walking around the street nowadays. I get it. Times have changed. Okay, but we really need to let our kids be kids also.
Well, and that's...
They got to learn, and they have to learn how to protect themselves, too.
Well, that's probably why some parents... That's why probably some parents will be giving their kid a Glock as a holiday gift. You got to protect yourself.
You got to be able to kick.
Well,
no Glocks, right, Bob? We know no Glocks.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, one other thing about, if I can mention about fluoride, okay? So this is what I think should happen. I think that they should find out what is a unsafe dose for people to drink, because I've heard, and I may not have heard from the right people, that you really have to drink a lot of water to have too much fluoride in your body. But I understand fluoride's coming in foods and teas and other things where it can build up. But also I think what should be studied, and this hasn't been mentioned, is that what is the effect on children's dental health? What is the effect? Are they getting less cavities? Is their teeth stronger? If that is the case, well, then maybe we should keep it in the water, But,
yeah, I don't know the whole... I mean, I've read different bits of research, and to me it's interesting that now this is going to be up for discussion in Binghamton. It's also notable that RFK Jr. is against water fluoridation, so who knows what this might mean for fluoridation of water across the country. Maybe something, maybe nothing. I don't know, but I'm guessing that there will be more discussion. By the way,
which is a good thing.
Well, discussion's always a good thing. Yeah.
Right.
By the way, what do you think about RFK Jr. and putting him in charge of Health and Human Services? What runs through your mind?
What runs through my mind is that finally there's going to be a discussion about what's in our food and how we can correct it. Now, I'll say this right off from the start, Bob. I think that, like we just said, discussion is a good thing. I don't think a lot is going to change. I don't think there's going to be pushback. And guess what? Where all the money is, they really don't want to lose that money. Like seed oils and ultra-processed food, they're going to be fighting this. But I think what's going to happen, the one thing that he will accomplish, he's going to get like the dyes out of Fruit Loops. That's what I think is going to happen. Okay.
Well,
hopefully,
I mean, there are good things. I mean, if he can get some of the, well, personally, I'd love all of the artificial coloring to be out of food. Right. But then people would say, oh, well then, so when you drink Moxie, do you want to look at Moxie? Because it'll probably look like cloudy water without the coloring that's added. So I don't know. I mean, I will say, for example, Kraft macaroni and cheese, and we know that's beloved. Or perhaps for people on the other side of the aisle, a good comparison of this bright orange color, aside from Kraft macaroni and cheese, would be Cheetos. So with that kind of orange, if you know what I mean, you know that doesn't happen naturally. So does that mean that starting in 2026, that Kraft macaroni and cheese and Cheetos are going to start looking grayish or brownish or yuckish? Because I'm not sure. What will they look like?
Well, they will keep them as much. They are going to fight this because they.
Oh, well,
they
that's
know
true.
That orange sells.
Of course, orange
like
sells.
the
Look
grayish
at the election. I rest my case. I'm sorry. I know. You know, now people are saying, Bob, you're just trying to be bad, and it's no.
They are
it's
picking
not,
on him again.
No, I'm not picking on him.
You're making a joke. That's what.
It's a joke. You're right. You know, but at least I'm not joking about Puerto Rico. Rimshot.
No, garbage.
And garbage. And McDonald's. I haven't said, as far as I can recall today, I haven't said one thing about working at McDonald's. Whew.
Yeah.
So now I've pushed everyone's button.
On Inauguration Day, he comes out with the vest on. I think that would be the greatest.
Well,
the yellow vest on Inauguration Day.
Well, he might.
More people than ever looking at him.
Oh, I know.
Stop, Gary.
I was going to say, now you're starting to sound like me.
I know.
Now you've gone too far.
Sorry.
Thank you, Gary.
Bye.
Have a good weekend. Well, it does sound like something I would say. And would he do it? Well, yes, he would. Will he do it? I don't think he will. But there have been a lot of other things that I didn't think he would do. And that's why we keep waking up every morning to find out what's next. What did he do now? Who did he nominate now? I mean, I could come up with a list of 5 names that I would say are improbable names to serve in the next administration. And who's to say, if I put those 5 names on the program in the final hour, who's to say that just to prove something that Donald Trump, President-elect Donald Trump, wouldn't be listening and say, oh, I'll show you, smart guy. Mr. Big Shot standing in front of your microphone. I'll show you. You came up with those 5 names. I will name all 5 of them to key post in my administration. Just to prove, not because they're really good candidates, but just to prove that I can do whatever I want because I am the President-elect Donald John Trump.
You know when he's Mr. Tough Guy, when he's standing behind a microphone by himself.
And I wish he would stop looking at me. He must have a spy cam because he knows when I'm standing in front of a microphone by myself.
You know when he's Mr. Tough Guy, when he's standing behind a microphone by himself.
I'm not a tough guy. I'm fair, compassionate, concerned. 12 before the hour on non-automated radio, WNBF, 92.1 FM, 1290 AM. Remember to use the WNBF app for the best experience. Are you experienced with the WNBF app? Morning, WNBF. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Well, I'm John from Binghamton, and I have been looking for government efficiency locally, and I believe it is time that these local politicians who have indebted Broome County and the various component school districts and municipalities be held accountable. And I think it's high time that we have much less spending in local government and clear up some of the debt that we have. And I can't believe that these local Republicans, create this illusion where every year that they're in office, they spend more money, and then they claim that they're reducing taxes. Of course, they're not. They're bonding, and they're using sales tax money to offset property tax money. So I hope that the public, and you know, Bob, after this election, I'm convinced that referendums need, and you can have a referendum in any municipality or the entire county. 5% of the voters that voted in the gubernatorial election is what you need as far as signatures. And really, we can give up on all these elected office holders and their bull crap and take it into our own hands and put things on the ballot. And I think that's the wave of the future. 270 referendums in the last few years in local governments in New York. And I think it's time. I think it's time to since these legislator races are so non-competitive that they don't even bother contesting these elections. I think it's time for a substantial cut, maybe down to 6 or 7 county legislators. Then we can get some competition into the system. I think it's time for term limits on the county level. I think it's time, and you can actually lower the pay of these officials with a referendum. Beginning when the referendum passes. So it's time for us to take charge.
Yes, that's what I say. Take charge, America. So say if Elon Musk is looking for regional deputies to find specific ways to save big money, because remember, he plans to save the U.S., the federal government, I think, $2 trillion. So if he wants to deputize people, say, for Broome County, if you become Elon Musk's deputy for cost efficiencies, name me 3 big programs, not just trimming, say, the legislature or whatever, 3 big programs where substantial cost savings could be found.
Well, you know how I feel about consolidating law enforcement. Did you see, by the way, Bob, the village of Frankfort, New York, last night abolished their police department?
No, they did not. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was going. They have a town and village police department, and I think that it's a couple $100,000 that they would have had to raise taxes by 16-18%.
All right, I punched up the story from News Channel 2 out of Utica. You're right. The village board abolished the police department. This sounds like something that occasionally comes up in the village of Owego. About every 5 or 6 years, you hear a new push to abolish the police department in Owego. Let me just skim. Oh, let's see. Said there was a presentation made to the public giving the board's reasons. The 2 main factors, of course, money. Says the department takes up 26% of the village budget, and a lack of coverage. Over the last 6 months, the village had no police coverage 83 times, and so the village relied on the town's police department. So
which brings up the town of Union, which does not have a police department. And it's very interesting that the high-value homes in the town of Union and Endwell get free police protection from the state police.
Oh, by the way, without naming names, where some of the best people live.
Yes, including people in law enforcement. They get their police protection, sheriff, and New York State Police without paying any particular increase in taxes, while the villages of Johnson City and that place that harbors international criminals, Endicott.
On Franklin Street.
Yeah. They have to pay through the nose for their police department. Now, I just want to ask you one thing, Bob. If it costs a $68,000 plus benefits. Let's say it costs, $100,000 to put a man in blue on the streets, and I think that's a fair estimate.
Well, it might be even more once you take up consider all the benefits.
Yeah. So if it costs $100,000, 10 cops is $1 million. How much money do these municipalities actually have before they realize? I mean, it's unsustainable now. It's not that they're not worth the money, but and it's not that it's not a dangerous and necessary job. But again, we're back to efficiency here. So if you're in the town of Union, if you're in the village of Endicott and the village of Johnson City, and keep in mind, when the village was Johnson City was that whole dissolution thing, they wanted the guy that put that together. He had a particular bent. He actually aided some of these people on the in the various governmental departments. But it was never proposed that, look, we're talking about a better police department, and we're talking about fair and equitable taxation between the Endwell and these villages. So plus you can throw in Westover, that isolated, non-contiguous island there, or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it is interesting, just the way necessary services, especially the public safety services, police, fire, EMS in Broome County, the way they're set up, it's a crazy quilt. And for a county that now may have, I'm going to say about 190,000 residents. I don't know what the current estimated population is for the county. But for a community our size, the way we have things set up with, let's face it, the one thing I'll say, especially here in Binghamton, if you need a cop in Binghamton in most parts of the city is probably about 30 seconds away in most cases. Now, it's obviously from time to time, if many officers are tied up on a big incident, then they might be on one side of the city or another. But if on normal days, like say now, if you call for police assistance in Binghamton, the 911 dispatcher could probably have a unit at your home or business within about 30 to 60 seconds as soon as the call is actually dispatched. Because, and again, it depends, shift change and things like that. And that's even though, of course, as we have established, the police department, Binghamton Police, is still woefully understaffed, not because of any defund the police movement, because they just haven't been able to find enough people who want to fill those open positions.
Well, if you look, I gave up counting when I got to 16 or 18. The DEC police, the mental health police,
VA police,
campus police.
We have police up at the Veterans Administration. We have police up at the former psychiatric center. We have police, Homeland Security police over here at the federal building. So many agencies have a law enforcement presence in the city of Binghamton. It's remarkable. And the FBI, Quinn Martin Production, they even have a guy. So,
Bob, I think, that if everybody in their locality say, well, let's put a referendum, on this or that, whatever issue they're in, and go and gather the signatures, maybe in the next election we can have like 20 or 30 valid ideas up for public vote, rather than let these people, and they're all in cahoots together, continue to destroy this economy. Jason Garner with his new slush fund, bringing back this county legislator. This is absurd. These people haven't created any jobs. We're continuing to have, and let me just say
Wait,
this.
Earl, we're out of time for this segment.
Okay,
appreciate your call. It's 9:59. More to come on the Friday edition of Binghamton Now. We love to hear from our listeners like you. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Carol from JC. and I'm not going to talk politics. I want to talk boxing. I was listening to watching TV this morning between 7 and 8, and they were talking about Mike Tyson, who was 58.
Carol, your phone is really weak. Can you get closer to a window?
You know what? Can you hear me better?
Much better.
I had to switch to speakerphone. No kidding. Something. You're about the third person to tell me that. Oh my goodness! I'll have to have it checked out when I go to pay my bill at the mall today. Anyway, the Mike Tyson, who was 58, and Jake Paul, whom I never heard of, is 27. And I guess they're going to wear heavier gloves, and I think the round is going to be a little less time than normal. And the only time, I was hoping you could look it up on the internet for me, what time it's going to be happening, depending on the time zone they're in, because my daughter and son-in-law have Netflix, and it's going to be on Netflix. And if you're wondering why I'm so interested in boxing, because, well, before television and rock and roll, I was born. Okay, I always like to say that. And my father and I listened to the radio and listened to a Joe Louis boxing match. I still remember. It was in the 40s sometime. I don't remember my brother being around. He's 5 years and exactly 1 week, 5 years and 1 week, because our birthdays are a week apart, younger than me. And so I just called him. He didn't answer the phone because we used to talk about boxing. I'm just interested in, statistics, like football statistics and things like that. And he, not he, but the, what am I trying to say? So I'm just trying to find out what time the match is and in what time zone it's in. Because I think my son-in-law would be interested in watching.
It's in Texas.
Oh, so that's Central, I think. Yes.
Yeah. It says it might start our time around 8:30. Well, let's see. The main card at the place, they're having it at a place in Arlington, Texas. The main card starts at 8:30, and it says it'll be 8 rounds of 2 minutes each.
Yeah, 2 minutes instead of 3.
But so the way this looks, it's, although the main card starts at 8:30, it looks like the one with these two combatants. The main event, I think, will be around 11 Eastern time, and you can watch it on the Netflix. If you have the Netflix, you could watch it.
My daughter and son-in-law have it.
Okay.
And plus, there's no work tomorrow because he goes to work at 6 in the morning. For goodness' sake.
I don't have the Netflix. So what can I do?
Cowabunga, I don't know.
I guess I'm sadly out of luck because I've never had the Netflix. I don't even know where to go to get it. So I will not be able to watch it. The rest of the world will be watching tonight, and then I have
hang out at some bar somewhere.
Oh. You think I'm going to drag myself into some bar? Come on.
No.
Man.
Oh, what's that? Oh, yes. Roger Neal, courtside, where Roger goes.
Oh, well, that's a nice place. And that's in the neighborhood. Maybe Roger will be there. I could be there.
1st.
Roger.
I think he's going to be there December 1st,
Bill Flynn. Will you come?
I'm planning on...
If I call up Roger and Bill Flynn and Don Morgan, Glenn Pitcher, we could all hang out there and we could watch it.
Well, I went to the Fireside or whatever that place is where he used to go. I've been there a couple of times, but I was already stopped at courtside on Sunday, I believe, Sunday or Saturday, to look at the menu to see, exactly, I know exactly in the bar where they're going to be. Like as you walk in the entrance, they're going to be over to the left near the front window. And I already checked out the menu for burgers and things. So if you're...
So what are you going to have, a burger? Or are you going to have a thing?
Well, they did have a special when Roger was there the first time. They were having a special on a particular burger for like $7 or $8 because the burgers are over $10, but it doesn't make any difference.
But they're good they're good burgers. Plus, they're bigger. They're bigger than the. You know how that one place sells quarter pounders? I think these burgers are bigger than the quarter pounders.
Well, the last time I ate there is when it was called the Colonial. Even before it was the name in between the Colonial and the Courtside. So I did go there for Restaurant Week when it was the Colonial.
Yeah, they used to have a coffee shop there. That used to be a coffee shop.
The Colonial?
Yeah, where the Colonial is now. It used to be a coffee shop. It used to be the, what was it, Happy Dairy or something. It was a coffee shop. That's where everybody used to hang out.
Oh, you're not thinking of Home Dairy.
Home Dairy. It used to be Home Dairy, where everybody used to hang out.
It was a, what do you call it? Not an automat place. What do they call those places where you used to be able to get food out of a machine that I used to see in the movies as a kid in New York? An automat. It's not like an automat, but my grandmother used to go there on Fridays back in the 50s because they had delicious macaroni and cheese. And being Catholic, you couldn't eat meat on Friday. And so I just remember that she used to, take a bus downtown from JC and go have her macaroni and cheese. What do you call those places that they had one in Syracuse? They had one in Syracuse on Salina Street. I was there in the 60s, where I felt like I was in an old black and white movie when I went there, because you would put money in a thing and open up a door, and stuff was heated. Do you know what I'm referring to? Or
No.
Talking about?
What was it like? Remember that place, Henry's Hamburger? Henry's Hamburger, and the hamburgers were like 10 cents, and a cheeseburger was 15.
And I know exactly where it used to be, where Piccolo's is now on Main Street.
Sure.
Across the Wendy's.
I think like Main and Clark.
Clark is the street.
They used to have one in Endwell too, on the George F. Highway.
They did?
Yeah. Now it's I think it's a car lot. It's over near the George F. Highway. It's between, where the Endwell Rug store is, where they sell rugs.
Yep.
Oh, just a little bit to the east, they had Henry's Hamburger.
Gosh, I didn't own a car until 1960, so I don't know. And maybe I didn't venture over to that part of town.
It was a rough part of town.
Well, do you recall? Well, I don't know if you recall this, when they used to actually have, like the George F. Highway, the original 2-lane George F. Highway is the part that you're traveling on when you're going west. Going east is the new part. So the George F. was a 2-lane road, because on the other, where the 2-lane is now going east, I'm confusing myself. Going east, there used to be a drive-in there, a drive-in movie. I think
it was the George F. Drive-In.
Oh, it wasn't called the George F. Drive-In. I don't know, but you could drive on the road behind it, and you could just, watch the screen minus the voice, just for the heck of it, if you wanted to drive back there. There's a whole.
But wouldn't that be like stealing?
No.
Wait, you went and watched the movie, but you didn't pay?
I'm talking the 40s. I'm talking the 40s and the 50s.
But you paid. At least you paid for the movie.
No, because you didn't go into the place. My father used to take a drive past there just for like a few
All right,
minutes.
as long as you didn't try to get the movie for free. That's my point.
No, let's go back to the boxing. Let's talk about stuff that makes more sense than
stuff that was non-criminal in nature. I understand. Hey, you're not under oath, but maybe you should be. So you and your family used to watch the drive-in movie for free.
For minutes.
Still
minutes at a time.
Okay, that'd be like going to Target and stealing an M&M and saying, "I only stole one M&M." What are you going to do? Throw the books at me?
Leave us dispense with this silliness conversation. Talk about something else. You're making mountain out of a molehill. So anyway, 11 o'clock is when I should expect to. I don't know if they're going to like this. Well, I think my son-in-law would be interested enough to watch it.
What's not to like? Two guys beating the crap out of each other.
Well, I'm not in favor of that. But Did you notice that there haven't been hardly any championship boxing matches? No, is anybody boxing? Is it all underground? Is it all taking place in some remote area?
Sure, there are illegal fights that are going on every weekend. They just don't advertise them publicly. It's all by word of mouth, so the police don't shut them down.
And some are even impromptu in certain locations.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh, Carol.
Well,
come on, man.
I haven't seen a fight lately because I don't go out. I don't do anything like that. I'm just,
You should go to a hockey game.
That's why I don't go. Do you know when the Icemen were in town, they were like a very minor league, I guess. Within the first 5 minutes, some guy had his shirt off and was being beaten. I said, when the Dusters first came into town, tickets were $4. I think that was 71, 72, 73, I'm not sure. And I wanted to buy a season ticket because I appreciated the skating ability. And then I found out, like, $4 times the number of games. Oh, you didn't get a price break like you do when you buy a baseball season ticket. It was like the same thing. However many games times $4, it was the same price. And I said, oh, forget about that. I'll just go to the game when I feel like it. Well, I wound up never going. But the other thing is the appreciation of the skating ability. But then when I saw all this fighting that was going on, this is nuts. I can't watch this.
Well, they don't. I went to, actually, I didn't mention it. I went to 2 hockey games last weekend. I went to the Friday night and the Saturday night games, and the Black Bears won both nights. And I think it's because I brought them good luck.
Well, that could be true. But how much above $4 was the ticket? Of course, it's like
someone I know got had the tickets.
Are the tickets more than $20? Do you think? I don't know.
I don't think they are. I'm not sure what they are. But I'm pretty sure that they're under 20. I think, and don't quote me. This is not for broadcast. I think they're maybe, I don't know, $17, but I wouldn't put that on the air without checking it.
Oh, I do have a question. I just thought of something. Talking about hockey and I also remember you were talking about being a paper boy just like days ago or last week. When is that not Main Endwell, the fire station that's over there in Endwell? They have a breakfast. Is it the week before Thanksgiving or the week after? Because that was when I told you that I sat across from a father and his 2 sons who you were their paper boy. And I told you their name, I was going to say off camera, off radio.
Now I'm remembering that, yeah.
Yes, so when is that breakfast that takes place at that volunteer fire station there in Endwell? Because Rob, I always thought his name was Tom, but is it Robert or Rob? He goes to the Town of Union Village Board meetings, and I haven't talked to him lately. So, and he always reminds me when the breakfast is, so I'll ask you instead. It's always the same week in November, like
it's the week before the election. I think it's the Saturday before the election.
No, we already had the election. It's in November. It's like closer to Thanksgiving.
No, it's closer to the election.
The election that just happened? What election?
No, the election that's coming up in 2 weeks, that one.
What election is that coming up in 2 weeks?
The election on November 26th. That's the real election. The one they had on the 5th, that was a test. The one on the 5th was just to see if the machines are working. The real one this year is going to be on November 26th. That's the one.
Are you trying to confuse me like you try to confuse another person that you talk to?
Oh, Carol.
Oh, Bob.
Notice I didn't answer the question.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, draw your own conclusions. Anyway, I hope you have a great weekend.
You as well.
Thanks. It's 10:26. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. It's Rob Brady from the O.L. Davis Fire
So was I
Company.
right? Did the breakfast already happen?
No, it's December 1st. It's
okay.
December 1st. It's always the Sunday after Thanksgiving,
Oh.
and Bill Flynn's there live. So
Okay.
WNBF is always represented, Bob. I remember you being at the
That's
breakfast
right.
lunch with us a long time ago.
There was one Sunday when Bill Flynn was, I think, out of town. Maybe he was on a cruise or something. You're right. Okay, for
You
some
were there
reason.
with us?
Yes. Yes, I have a picture to prove it.
Yep, you were there with us one time, but Bill Flynn has been there historically with us every year, and this is the 33rd year we've done it in our newly remodeled basement, but it's 33 years old, but it's right at grade. We didn't have to go upstairs like the old days above the fire truck, so we're right down in the back parking lot. And yeah, we'll be there December 1st from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. and Bill Flynn will be there with us live on the radio.
All right. Well, I will tune in 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sunday, December 1st. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for correcting.
No problem.
Correcting the misinformation.
I heard Carol talking to you, and
well, then she'll be there because now she's listening and she knows that she didn't miss it at all.
Right. There was once what you may have been thinking of. There was a Rotary breakfast that they used to do right before the elections in November.
That's the one I was,
used to do.
Yep, that's the one I was thinking of, and I guess they don't do that anymore, but they used to.
Yes, I don't know if they did it this year. They used to do it at Brothers too, then they moved to a trio, but I haven't heard about it recently.
Yeah, maybe they did it and I just missed it. I didn't hear about it this year because I know usually somebody would send us something or call in, so maybe they did it this year and I was under the radar. But anyway, so the big one, Sunday, December 1st from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Otherwise, how are things going, Rob?
Everything's good. Everything is good. Obviously, we have some dry weather, so we're concerned about brush fires and forest fires and stuff. And we have several departments from Broome and Tioga County deployed downstate for those fires down there in Orange County. But no, everything up here seems to be going good, and you're doing a great job covering what you cover. I get on WNBF.com multiple times a day, and you cover most of our emergencies that we see.
Yeah, most of them. Not everyone, but
well, you can't be out.
No,
you can't be out.
Can't be everywhere at once. I mean, there was the incident last weekend that I didn't cover, but I believe the fire department did post information online, so that was helpful because it's one of those cases when you look at the pictures, you say, "Oh, that looked horrible," and it turns out, it had the potential to be really bad, but fortunately, due to a prompt response, it was I believe quickly controlled. As I recall, I think people nearby jumped right in, and then the fire department responded quickly. So situation was handled expeditiously.
You're right, Bob. I was there, and those neighbors did a great job saving that woman because she was in the car before the actual heat from the exhaust system caught the leaves on fire and burned the car right up. Yeah. Right.
So it's fortunate they saw a situation and responded quickly. Well, Rob, thanks for checking in. Hope you and everybody in Endwell can have a great weekend.
Great. You too, Bob. It's always enjoyable listening to you and all my friends at WNBF. Take care now.
Thanks. There you go. Live and local. You get real information in real time here. Is anybody else going to do that? No, I doubt it. But we do it. And we are grateful. That's one of the great things about doing a live radio program compared to, say, a podcast. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, podcasts have their place in the media infrastructure. Say you bring up a topic on a podcast, not likely to get an instant response, the information that you're looking for. Whereas on this program, every morning, we have the ability to give you information very fast. That's why I love it. 10:31. If you'd like to chime in, you are welcome to join us at 607-772-1290. Listening to Binghamton Now on WNBF. And we are having just a wonderful Friday morning. Here's the forecast for the weekend from the National Weather Service. Partly sunny today, high 51. Partly cloudy tonight, low 35. Mostly cloudy tomorrow to start, then gradual clearing. A bit warmer, high 53. Partly sunny on Sunday, high 54. Right now, it's 43 in downtown Binghamton, 6 Celsius. Air quality, they claim it's good. The air quality index is 45. As I drove in to the beautiful Binghamton Now state-of-the-art studio, I was alarmed because it looked to me like I could see some smoke from wildfires. That's what it looked like to me, but they say the air quality index here is 45 and good, so maybe I was imagining that. Just to me, it just looked like there was smoke from wildfires, but maybe it's smoke from something else. Probably from these weed stores. That's another thing. Have you seen how many weed stores we have now? Soon, I think now in some parts of Broome County, we now have more weed stores than we have supermarkets. So apparently this decision to legalize weed, as in marijuana, apparently that's just taken over New York State like wildfire. See what I did there? So, and then we had this story, and I've been looking into this for a while now, but we didn't have a chance to really talk with anybody about it till Mayor Cram was in the studio on Thursday over on Vestal Avenue, that apparently some people, and I say some people because the secrecy of these weed enterprises is just remarkable. We see that time and again. It's trying to figure out who is going to run the new weed stores. And most of the time, people try to conceal their identity. Oh, no, it has to be a secret. Yeah, but who is it? Oh, somebody who's out of town who doesn't have a phone. Oh, her. It's like, no, just tell me who's going to run the weed store so we can do a story. And so we have to wait. I had to, in this case, wait until Mayor Cram came in on Thursday and said, well, what about this other license? Oh, that. Because the city had said, the city told the state regulators, we have concerns about this particular property. And as the mayor said, why not, and I'm paraphrasing, this is not a direct quote, but why not put the weed stores in places where they might do more good? If you have a bunch of empty storefronts, and I think he specifically said on Clinton Street, because look, on Clinton Street, and I don't mean to disparage Clinton Street because I love Clinton Street, but there are a lot of places potentially where you could put in weed stores that aren't currently occupied by popular restaurants. That's my point. And I think, as the mayor said on the program, they should be filling vacant storefronts. That's a direct quote from Mayor Cram. And I agree. Hey, it's the law. We understand there will be more legal weed stores, but wouldn't it be better for them to fill vacant storefronts than out-of-town, faceless, mysterious operators who don't want their names known to come in and, oh, that's a nice place you got there. It's a restaurant. It's really successful. Yeah, I think we want to put a weed hut there. Okay. I don't know who that was or why, but it could have been anyone calling about anything. Anyway, if that was you calling about anything, you can call back in and maybe I'll answer it on the air. So anyway, the mayor said on WNBF's Binghamton Now program, this would be basically booting out an existing business, in this case, a great locally owned restaurant. That was what the mayor said. So we call over to the place and talk to the manager, and she says, yeah, we don't know anything about it. Come on, man. But then we find out, well, here is apparently the problem. The restaurant doesn't have a lease over there. So if they're paying their rent on a month-by-month basis, well, that's the risk of that kind of arrangement, that you're running a restaurant, and that restaurant has been there since 2018, I believe. I think it's been there for about nearly 6.5 years. So you run a restaurant, people love it, and then you don't have a lease, and then you find out from the liberal media that the state has approved a wacky weed license for your location. So, unless something changes, it would seem the restaurant will have to get out of there in 5 or 6 months. I don't know how much time they'll have. I don't think the mysterious, secretive people from, what is it called? Happy Weed? They always come up with these names. Happy Weed LLC, or what's that one? The names, that's the thing that I've noticed about all these legal weed stores. They pride themselves on their wacky names. I guess they think if they have some sort of wacky name, they'll sell more weeds. But what is this? Tranquil? ARC LLC. So, whatever. So the faceless entities, out-of-town entities that run these wacky weed stores, taking good money out of our town because people want more weed. So they typically, not all of them, I mean, obviously the one here on Court Street, we know him. He's lived here. So that's different. A lot of the places, though, seem to be these nefarious operations who don't even want to identify themselves. Why the secrecy? If it's legal and you're proud of selling marijuana, why not come on the program and say, yeah, I got a license. I filled out the applications. I'm going to meet all the state's criteria. So let me tell you about my plan. So, whatever. 1041 WNBF. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Brian and Caitlin here, and we are calling from TTJR Oddities on 33 West State Street in the Binghamton Plaza. We are a new store that just opened up.
This is the one that the property manager John mentioned when he called in on yesterday's program, right?
Yes, it is. We just like to say good morning to everybody out here listening, and come take a look at our shop.
All right. And he said that it seems like it may have a little bit of everything. Tell us a little bit about the stuff that's in stock.
We have a little bit of everything here. We have home decor. We have clothing for everybody. Kids clothing to adults clothing to big guys, big girls, littles, sports clothing. We have sportswear. Harley Davidson stuff, from motorcycles to clothing, apparel, knickknacks, toys, crystals, rocks, healing stones, dishware, houseware, bedding, beds, furniture, everything and anything. A lot of Christmas stuff, vintage, antique, new stuff.
Okay.
Everything.
Got any old radios there?
Matter of fact, I do have an old radio here.
Really?
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, maybe I'll stop by. I love looking. I was over in Washington Avenue yesterday, and there's a store in their window. They weren't open yet, but they had a couple of what I thought were nice-looking radios in their display window. And I thought, because these days, And don't get me wrong, I still love radio because that's how I make my money. But these days, it's hard to find a lot of stores that are selling radios, even because so many people now listen online or listen on their phones. But for some of us traditionalists, we still like being able to listen on radio, whether it's AM or FM. So when did you open up your store?
We opened up on November 2nd was our grand opening.
All right. And how's it going so far?
So far, it's been going pretty good.
Yeah.
Steady traffic every day, Wednesday through Sunday. Weekends right at the moment do a little bit better because the word's not out there yet that we are open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then you still have the flea market over here that's open Saturday and Sunday. So people come for that. So they enjoy our shop, and then they go to the flea market afterwards.
So what part of the plaza is your store located? I mean, what's it closest to, or what do you know what used to be there, say, previously?
Fashion Bug used to be here, and we're right next door to the Kmart.
Oh, okay.
Right next door to the Kmart.
I know exactly where that is because at one time, a few years ago, they were using the closed Kmart store. They were selling they were storing lots of hemp in there for which there is no market. So they were using all the space because there is a lot of space inside the former Kmart in the Binghamton Plaza. Right. And it turned out to be a lot of hemp that ultimately, I don't think it was ever sold, sadly. It was just, I mean, it's just the way it went.
Right. I don't believe that's there anymore.
No. Oh, no, they took it all out. I was in the old Kmart I would say about a year ago, and I walked through there, and it was all empty. You know, the hemp was long gone, but you could still smell because it still had a little bit of hemp aroma that lingered. So you're operating this store with yourself and your wife?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And so where are you from? Where you live in Broome County or?
No, actually, we're from Tioga County, New York. We're right on the Pennsylvania border. We service a 100-mile radius from where we do estate sales, house cleanouts, and stuff like that.
Oh, so really?
Our specialty is estate sales. So we do estate sales, house cleanouts, storage unit cleanouts, junk removal, anything like that.
Oh, so you must come across some pretty interesting things. Because I know a person. I have a friend who goes to a lot of estate sales, and it's remarkable some of the things you'll find.
We find a lot of stuff, a lot of interesting stuff, and we bring that interesting stuff right here to our shop.
All right. Well, I may have to pop over there and take a closer look. I appreciate your calling in. Hope you have a great day, and thanks.
Thank you very much, and stop in any day.
All right. Take care.
Have a good day. Bye.
1046 at WNBF. Well, I was just over by the Binghamton Plaza yesterday. I didn't have a chance to stop in. I was working on another. If you notice, it seems like I'm always working on stories. I was looking at some other spot over on the north side, not far from there, for a story. It's not going to happen. Probably won't happen until next week, but there's always something going on around here. What's funny about the news, they just never stop making it. It's like that potato chip factory. They just won't stop. They keep making more. Yes, news like potato chips, almost addictive. 1047, Bob Joseph on a Friday morning at WNBF. Well, it is Friday morning, and the broadcast will continue for a bit over an hour longer, so you still have time to make your point. If there is a point that must be made, 607-772-1290. Looks like it'll be a nice weekend. Very nice weekend, except for the wildfires. Still no appreciable rain in sight, and at some point you have to ask yourself what the heck is going on. Well, what is going on with this lack of rain? I don't like rain as much as the next person, but seems to me, at this point, enough is enough. Now we've had all this dry weather for months. Now we actually need some precipitation before the entire state winds up burning down. And Alex, I was going to call him Andy. Sorry, not Andy. Alex Jones is trying to challenge the auction of his infamous platform. The auction was ordered to help pay the judgment against Alex Jones for defaming the Sandy Hook families. The auction was won by this satire site, well, the company that runs it, called The Onion. So John Feinblatt is president of a group called Every Town for Gun Safety. He says his group will become the chief advertiser on whatever is done with the InfoWars site, assuming the Onion is able to really gain control of this InfoWars site.
That means anything from a banner ad to a link to video to creating content together. And the goal here is really to cut through the misinformation.
Misinformation. Well, maybe they'll hire RFK Jr. to do their ads. So Ben Collins is head of the company that runs The Onion. He talked about the possibility about whether his company's bid was actually the highest one in the auction that was recently held.
We did have the highest bid when you take into account the family's concessions here. They made a concerted effort to make this the best and highest bid for everybody involved.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see. And Alex Jones, I think, let me see, wasn't Alex Jones whining about this? I was hoping that we had a little soundbite from Alex Jones, because I thought I saw on the Nora O'Donnell show, I thought Alex Jones was whining. Let me see. Let me punch up the New York Times story, because I think Alex Jones was having a fit over this. So the judge at the bankruptcy court has put a hold on the sale until a hearing is held next week. The judge cited concerns about a lack of transparency in the secret bidding process. So, let me see. I'm still trying to find out a quote from Alex Jones, because I saw him. Well, according to the New York Times article, Mr. Jones, whose lawyer did not respond to a request for comment, has stoked drama around the auction. He promoted something called Save InfoWars discounts on the diet supplements and survival gear that have powered his business. He called on Elon Musk to enter the bidding and insisted that agents for hostile buyers had arrived at the door of his operation in Austin. According to the New York Times account, it's not likely that a takeover by The Onion would silence Alex Jones, which I think is absolutely true. I don't think Alex Jones can or will be silenced. And I guess an even bigger question is, should he be silenced? You know, I mean, he's Alex Jones. They like to call him a conspiracy theorist. And I think that's accurate. Is he a conspiracy theorist? Yes, I think he is. However, acknowledging that many people view Alex Jones as a conspiracy theorist, does that mean he really has to be silenced? That's a tough question, because conspiracy theorists, say when conspiracy theorists call the program, you know, unlike the internet, you know that on this program, conspiracy theorists don't get very far. And there are reasons for that. This is a commercial radio station. It's licensed and regulated by the Federal Communications Commission. And basically, we're trying to run an operation that can be reputable, reliable, and fair. So people who, say if Alex Jones calls in now, hi, this is Alex from wherever he's from. I don't remember offhand. Texas or wherever he is. And if he lobbed a conspiracy theory live on the radio here at WNBF, the odds are that he wouldn't get very far, because I am not in a position where I can allow conspiracy theorists to go too far on a live radio program. Again, sometimes people confuse the radio program with the internet. There's nothing. Well, no, I shouldn't say there's nothing. The reality is the internet is the internet. That's why Al Gore invented it. The internet was invented for conspiracy theorists and for Amazon.com. Those are the two reasons Al Gore invented the internet, for conspiracy theories and for Amazon.com. And yes, the rest of us get to use the internet, but that's not the primary reason the former vice president invented it. So Amazon.com, they make their billions of dollars every week, and then conspiracy theorists, they throw out their conspiracy theories as they sit behind a keyboard, drinking their Diet Moxie and eating cheese puffs, as they should, because they're so tasty. But on radio, you have to use far more discretion. So Alex Jones, of course, is welcome to come on the program. I would never say Alex Jones is not welcome as a guest. I would welcome him to come into the studio here and talk with me. But if he was a guest on the program, would the entire 3-hour interview be just one conspiracy theory after another? No. And that's why he wouldn't sit still for long. He'd probably start after a couple of minutes where we exchange pleasantries. And after he found out he couldn't use the entire Binghamton Now platform to advance his conspiracy theories, then he'd probably leave, because he's got better places to go to further his conspiracy theories. But I would love to have a really serious interview with the guy. Same with Mr. Pillow. Alex Jones and the Pillow guy. I'd love to have these people on for serious interviews, but we still would have some constraints. As David Brinkley used to say, that's the way it is. I know it wasn't David Brinkley. It's Bernie Fianti. 10:58. You're listening to News Radio, WNBF and WNBF.com. What a beautiful morning here at WNBF, WNBF.com. Another big hour of big calls using the very best phone lines available in America at a discount price. Caller number one, it's Howard Beale in Chicago. It's Matt from Binghamton. Good morning.
Hey, how are you today?
I am well. How are you?
I'm good. You know, Kamala Harris said, and this was a quote, in many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man, but the consequences of putting Donald J. Trump back in the White House are extremely serious. And we're seeing that play out with these cast of characters that he's nominating for positions. One that I will talk about, who used to be a friend of mine, actually, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I got to meet him a couple times. But anyway, he has gone crazy. He admitted that he has some bug or something ate part of his brain.
Worms ate his brain.
Okay, but here's way back. This is not somebody that's going after him now. The Annenberg Public Policy Center, way back on August 28th of 2023, SciCheck, which is a thing they do, examines the trail of false and misleading claims on health topics such as vaccines, autism, and COVID-19 made by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. So these are things that existed well before he got nominated. It's not like somebody's... and by the way, the real serious thing is he became real good friends with the leader of Samoa and went and got wined and dined by him. And the leader of Samoa also had some anti-vax tendencies. Well, they ended up, if you go look at that case, and that's from way back in 2019, by the Royal Australian College of medicine and stuff, they talked about this thing that happened there. They railed against measles vaccines. Measles vaccines went down from 98% down to 40%. And what happened? The measles death toll in Samoa now stood at 53, and all but 3 deaths occurring among children under the age of 4. That's the consequences of an unserious president putting in an unserious person. And we cannot have this. And we know, I don't even know, I hope most of your leaders realize what he's doing in the with the Attorney General.
Matt Gaetz isn't going to get confirmed. I mean, that actually, I think the whole nomination, well, he hasn't even been officially nominated. He can't be till after January 20th. I think the whole thing with Matt Gaetz was just to try to save him from the embarrassing release of this report, which now is going to come out anyway. Matt, you're an attorney. You know that, maybe the report won't be officially released, but I guarantee the report's coming out one way or the other. And Matt Gaetz and President-elect Donald John Trump, they can't do a damn thing about it. It's coming out. We have to read what the House committee's review turned up.
Well, wouldn't you like to be on the plane that flew up from here when Trump was coming up to address Meet the President, which, by the way, he didn't offer the same courtesy to Biden when he got elected. But when he met him in the White House, and then before that, he met with all the Republican Congress people, and he basically he flew Matt Gaetz up on the plane with him coming for those visits, and if we just had a conversation about that, a tape of those conversations that him and Matt Gaetz had on the way up here, I think you're exactly right. This was a whole setup, and we would, you barely have to read between the lines.
Lordy, I hope there are tapes.
Yeah, what's that?
Lordy, I hope there are tapes.
Yes.
I hope there are tapes. There might be. You know what? I'll go out on a limb and say, I bet there are tapes. They just haven't been released yet. This is what I bet. President-elect Donald John Trump and disgraced, former Representative Matt Gaetz. I bet they were both recording, and there were probably people on Trump's staff also recording. So there might be 3 separate tapes of this. So don't write it off so quickly to think that we at some point may not hear tapes. Somebody, for some reason, whether it's President-elect Donald John Trump or former Representative Matt Gaetz, or somebody on one of their staff, somebody's going to release one of those tapes, I think, or at least a transcript. So stay tuned.
For those who aren't familiar with the whole story, what Gaetz did, he immediately resigned from Congress after this because he thought their plan was that would kill the release of this report. And like you said, it'll leak. If it doesn't, first of all, if he's going to really go up and be confirmed, the people are going to be, allowed to, that for an attorney general, that's information you would want to know and should be probed to see if he's fit.
Sure, and I bet there'll be some Senate Republicans who insist on that report being made available. Senate Republicans, say what you will about Senate Republicans, but they're not all just aboard some sort of train. There are some independent thinking Senate Republicans who certainly don't want some of the highest posts in this country to be held by people who are unworthy.
And just one other nominee, Kelsey Gabbard.
I like her.
Well, why? Because she's got a gray streak that looks cool in front of her head?
Yeah. No, I'm not that shallow. Come on, no. I like, because didn't she used to be governor or something in Hawaii? Not governor of Hawaii. She could see
congressperson.
What was it? Oh, congressperson. Yeah, I was thinking she was the governor of Hawaii who could see Russia from her back deck, but I guess I'm thinking of someone else. Anyway, so what do you think about Tulsi Gabbard? She certainly is a well qualified person.
here's what for the position she's in. She's probably less qualified than Getz, although he's been such a buffoon for so long that people are.
Stop calling him names. Now you're making, we're going to get calls from some zoos where they've got
buffoon.
Yay, they've got the program piped into some of the cages at certain zoos, and now buffoons are crying. Stop comparing Matt Gaetz to buffoons. Anyway, as you were saying about Tulsi Gabbard.
She was the one who spread the conspiracy theory that there were labs, certain labs in Ukraine, like biochemical labs in Ukraine. And a lot of people think that was one of the reasons why Putin decided to go in. He thought they were developing biochemical weapons. And she was the one that spread that rumor. It was a rumor. It was a lie. It wasn't. And this is the kind of person we're going to put in charge of intelligence? What, are you kidding me?
Okay. Well, I don't think she's going to be confirmed either, but that's just a theory. Thank you. It's 11:18 WNBF. The Good Time Happy Hour continues. If you like good times, if you like pizza and subs, all that stuff. Good times, pizza and subs, and just delightful conversation. This is your show. If you don't like good times or don't like pizza or subs, you may have to wait till Bongino comes on in about 45 minutes. I'm Bob Joseph, holding down the fort at WNBF. Back to the busy phone lines. Hi, you're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
I want to make a short comment on, it'll be nice now.
Wait, sorry, we missed your first name. Sorry, we missed your first name because I didn't push the button all the way in. What's your first name?
Beverly from the town of Dickinson.
Okay, continue.
Bob, I'm kind of worried about that. What's his name? Swami? Is that his name that was running for president at one time?
No, I know who you're talking about. That's not why are you worried about him?
I don't know, Bob. I don't know, Bob. I guess I'm afraid of him. I don't know.
Why? He seems to be a pretty good guy.
Well, Bob, maybe I should give him a chance, But I'm kind of leery on him, But
he's. They say I'm just reading up about him. So, Vivek Ramaswamy, he's an entrepreneur. So he founded a pharmaceutical company. So it means he's rich. So he is 38 years old, and he was born in Cincinnati, home of Crest toothpaste.
Oh, Bob, I just, I'm just like my aide told me, give him a chance. But for some reason or the other, Bob, I'm a little leery. I don't know why. But
yeah, no, it seems he's smart. He graduated from Harvard.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, with a bachelor's degree in biology and then earned a degree from Yale Law School. So, got to say, he's extremely intelligent and apparently quite rich.
Yeah.
So, I say he's probably just like you and me.
Yeah, well, my aide that's here today, she told me about that. I should give him a chance.
Yeah, I think he deserves a chance. I would love to have him on our radio program. Would you listen if he comes on the program?
Oh, yes, but you got to tell me in advance, though.
Okay, well, if he schedules a segment on the program, I'll announce it in advance.
All right, Bob. But like I said, I don't know why, Bob. It just, I'm a little leery about him.
Well,
just like my aide said, give him a chance.
Yeah, you got to give everyone a chance.
Yeah. Okay, Bob.
All right.
Have a good day.
All right. Thank you. It's 11:24. Give everyone a chance. That's what John Lennon said. All we are saying is give everyone a chance. Matt Gaetz, give him a chance. Tulsi Gabbard, give her a chance. RFK Jr., give him a chance. Oh, I wish I was running one of those congressional committees. Whew. Give him a chance. And yes, he's welcome to come on the program. I'm not going to contact him because he's really busy now. But if he happens to be listening, if he's driving around his Bentley, who knows? He could be on Grand Boulevard. He could be anywhere right now driving a Bentley because that's a nice car. If he's listening, send me an email, bob@WNBF.com. Let me know when you can come on the program, and we'll set it up. 607-772-1290. We can talk about anything. It could be fun because it's Friday, or it could be amazingly serious because it's Binghamton Now. Basically, everything is on the table. Binghamton and beyond, we're on the air at 92.1 FM and 1290 AM, online at WNBF.com, and you're always connected with us using the free WNBF app. Binghamton Now at 11:27, and there's so much good stuff going on this weekend, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Well, I know there isn't going to be any hockey going on at the arena. The Black Bears are out of town for a while. Oh, well. We'll see them when they return. Forecast looks like a fairly lovely autumn weekend, mid-November, and no snow in the forecast, really no rain. Let's look. There is a slight chance of showers early Sunday morning, as in a 20% chance, and then next Wednesday night, there's a chance of showers. Looks like it appears there could be real precipitation Wednesday night and Thursday. So in the meantime, exceptionally dry conditions will persist. So for you people who insist on flicking your cigarette butts out the car window, just stop. Well, stop anyway, but especially stop when it's so dry. The conditions are just too dry. It's very hazardous. Here's the official forecast. Partly sunny this afternoon, high 51. Partly cloudy tonight, low 35. Mostly cloudy tomorrow through mid-morning, then gradual clearing, high 53. Partly sunny Sunday, high 54. Right now it's 47 in downtown Binghamton. That is 8 Celsius. You're at News Radio, WNBF. I love the controversies in sports. Look at some of these stories. And I know, I say it's only a game, and yet some people, they just love. Like, did you hear that latest controversy about what he said about the other guy or the other? It's like, these are people just talking, babbling about a game. It's all entertainment, folks. Yeah, but that was really nasty. Yeah, it's all designed to drum up some kind of interest. Yeah, but I'm sure he really hates the other. No, they don't hate each other. It's like World Wrestling Federation. It's all a game. But he sounded like he meant it. No, he is a pretty good actor. 11:30 WNBF Binghamton. Let's take another call. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Martin from Binghamton Ward here.
Hey, what's going on there in the ward?
Oh, very nice day. And I'm looking forward to walking the dog later in the afternoon. Physical therapy appointment, all that stuff. But it looks like it's going to be good. And yeah, the rivers are horrifically low. You know, it's like the fish are wondering what the hell's going on. You know, they're gathering for little pools and stuff. I was thinking about going fishing, but I don't know about how the leaves will be or whatever out there. But you know, maybe some topwater bait, whatever. But anyway, I digress. So, way I call about these three clowns or whatever they are, appointees. But, I was watching a lot of news yesterday, and John Brennan, the head of the CIA, was talking about how that, he's in contact with other countries. And I was saying, what's happened to the United States? What is going on over there? And you mentioned something about, you asked me about Tulsi Gabbard in Russia. I was foreign to that. I didn't know, but now I know. And it was like, well, she was cudgel to the misinformation campaign that Russia was putting out about the United States, and she ran with it. She grabbed it, and so she was just a useful idiot for the. And you could see her on there talking about Ukraine and other things there, And so I want to skip to Matt Gates. This is a guy brought up a name we might have heard in a decade and a half. A guy named Michael Brown. I don't know if you remember him or not. He was the head of the FEMA. George Bush put him in charge. And what was his claim to fame? What did he have to do with public safety? He was a horse trainer. This is what happens when you put people in. If you can't remember how bad Katrina was, I mean, And like Brendan's saying, this is just an example.
Wait, hold on. We have a thing from my stack of stuff. This is Tulsi Gabbard talking. Hold on. This is Tulsi Gabbard from my stack of stuff.
Okay, doke.
Listen carefully, because it's only 4 seconds.
It's absolutely unacceptable, and it's an epic failure of leadership.
That's Tulsi Gabbard.
Speaking about...
Who knows, but... I don't know what she's speaking about, but I think it's actually about 6 years old. It looks like she was talking about something in 2018, but I just thought I would play it now because now it sounds, even though it was from January 2018, seems like it might pertain to what's going on today.
It's absolutely unacceptable, and it's an epic failure of leadership.
Don't you think that might apply today?
Yeah, it's probably about Russia going back because this is coming out after the election and everything like that, and the misinformation campaign. They were targeting people.
Is that her nickname? Is that her nickname? Misinformation?
Oh, good point.
Or is it Miss Hawaii? No, it's Tulsi Gabbard, former representative.
Yeah.
Misinformation.
Like talking about. He made a great analogy, metaphor, whatever, towards Trump. This is a perfect week. What's he done for the past 4 years? What did he do? He exhausted us. We were exhausted. Even you said that several times.
Yeah, but now I have my second wind, and now I'm looking forward to the next 4 years.
Oh yeah, for your show.
Yes. What could be more important? We're talking about the show, Martin. The show is the thing.
I dig it, but what about the show, man? I mean, what about the country and the
kids?
Of
course as an American, as a patriotic American who was born in Binghamton, of course I'm concerned about the country. But the show, of course, is the most important thing, don't you think?
It's important, Bob. It's important.
Okay, thank you. As long as you acknowledge the importance of the show. I don't want to say the show is more important than the future of America, but what I want to say is it's pretty much equally important, because if America does well, the show will do well.
Well, if America does bad, it'll still you're a win-win, Bob. You can't.
Actually, that's true. I mean, regardless of the trials and tribulations this nation faces the next 4 years, we will survive. Not only will the show survive and thrive, but the American people will. The American people are up to the challenge.
Winner, lobster dinner. That's you, Bob. No chicken dinner. But about Kennedy, too, they had his former doctor on there. They were talking about that. He was coming to him for horrible headaches he was having, and they tested him. They said he had his mercury in his blood was 10 times the acceptable level. And he was eating a lot of pork and mostly tuna.
That's what I was going to say. I was just going to ask, was he eating tuna fish? Because remember, about 50 years ago, and maybe you don't remember this, but Bruce McDuffie, who was a researcher at SUNY Binghamton, he was one of the first researchers to show how much mercury was in tuna that Americans were buying at supermarkets. So to say that possibly the amount of mercury he ingested because of tuna fish, especially after about half a century of groundbreaking research right here in Vestal over at SUNY Binghamton. To me, that's sad, because he should have been reading about that. That was in all the papers.
Well, also when we were growing up as children, what did they put in our fillings? What was in our fillings? Mercury.
Mercury. Oh, that's right. Mercury. And by the way, in all our thermometers, what was in the thermometers? Mercury.
Yeah.
What was America's best-selling car in 1968? Mercury.
Yeah, Cougar. I had a Cougar. I had a nice, beautiful '67 Cougar.
How old was she?
Oh man, she was older than what Matt Gates grabbed. So I could say
let's stipulate Matt Gates has not been convicted of anything in a court of law, so I presume him to be innocent.
When that comes out, Bob.
Well, what I'll say about Matt Gates, because I you know me, Martin, I am an eminently fair person, and I want to always give people the benefit of the doubt. What I'll say about Matt Gates is I truly hope that going forward that no information comes out that would really impugn his overall integrity or his ethics. I want to hope that despite all the allegations that he is a man of great integrity and basically a person of the utmost morality.
Well, look what he did for the Congress for 4 months. Just held them all up.
Well, I think a lot of that was just political.
I was watching television like last night, twitching back and forth, getting information on these guys. Okay, and a commercial came on, and it was for Botox injections. It's lawsuits against Botox injections. And one of the hallmarks of that, of the side effects, is the eyes. Ooh, well, look at that Cheshire cat. Look at Mac. Look at Gates. Look how he looks. I mean, my God. I mean, it was just.
Well, I'll concede Matt Gates doesn't look anything like Joe Biden. That much we can agree on.
But look at it before and after.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I've seen. You're right. I've seen some file photos of Matt Gates compared to his current look, but I'm not gonna rush to judgment.
And back to RFK, I have a little.
Oh yeah, let's talk more about RFK Jr. because I actually think he's of the greatest interest right now. I think RFK Jr. with his plans to go against, say, artificial colors and highly processed foods, I think that's commendable.
Well, it's just not that. It's all like the exact quote from Trump is, "I want the oil. I want the oil." Bob, you can run. You can have the health. You can have the food. You can have the medicine. You can go wild with all this stuff. But
RFK Jr. wouldn't go wild.
Oh my God.
Come on, RFK Jr., a lot of that is just tough talk. Once he gets in his new position, I bet he's going to focus primarily on getting artificial colors out of macaroni and cheese and in salty snack foods, and also trying to encourage Americans to eat less processed food.
He might do that.
Yeah, so let's give him some credit. I mean, I know a lot of people are focusing on his anti-vaccination rhetoric and a lot of the other things that have gotten the most attention over the last 3 or 4 years. So that's one element, but there are other elements that sound promising.
Well, about what Matt was saying over there in Samoa, it went from effectiveness. I'm sorry. It was 92% of the kids got shot, and then it went down to 42%. 83 kids died, and between him and that president there, but all these kids, and he was saying that there is no provable good vaccine. Well, what about polio? Hello? How long's that been around? Look at the success that did. I remember being scared as a kid hearing that going to kindergarten. And that's when that came out, when they were lining us all up in the hallway and then give us the sugar cubes, and they would show us pictures of kids in wheelchairs and stuff like that. That's the last thing a 6-year-old kid wants, And he's even saying that that polio vaccines are no good. He wants to take away this. He wants to take away the fluoride. We know that from the children. The man is one word, dangerous.
Well, we'll see what happens. He hasn't been confirmed yet. And the same with all the other people that have been brought up as President-elect Donald John Trump's choices for some of these key developments. I think so far it's been very interesting.
They're all dangerous because he's dangerous.
Oh, come on, man.
Well, we'll see.
Look, he may have been dangerous in the view of some people during his first term. Now, for the next 4 years, he's going to work on burnishing his legacy. So the next 4 years, he's going to strive to do everything right and try to please the most people most of the time.
Well, ask the wife and the kids of January 6th that their father was killed and didn't come home, or they suffered multiple strokes, and they're disabled now, and over 100 policemen.
I agree. Donald John Trump, President-elect Trump really ought to reevaluate his position and start offering some apologies to those families and to the friends of those who were harmed from January 6, 2021. I fully agree.
Roy Cohn, one of his 3 principles: don't ever apologize.
I know.
Don't ever say you're sorry. Don't ever be kind. And this is Trump's new speaking. I was watching it on Frontline last week. He was saying, people love to hate. That's my premise. Push that hate button, and people just run to it, just like the rats for the cocaine.
Oh. I don't think people are like rats. Anyway, appreciate your call. I hope you have a good weekend.
As a metaphor.
I know how you used it. I hope you have a good weekend.
Have a good, safe weekend. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hope it rains.
Yeah.
Hope it rains.
Yep. 1143 WNBF, the station that is serving a grateful America. That's why we're here. We could do it just because we love it, which we do, but mainly because we understand a grateful America tunes in every weekday morning to Binghamton Now. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Diana from the South Side.
Good morning.
Good morning. I got a disturbing phone call yesterday, and I checked it all out. It's a scam. So I need to know about this. I saved it on the phone, by the way. They said that they were from Spectrum. And I got it like 1 in the afternoon, 1:30, something like that. And they were trying to say that this is a recording. I didn't answer it. This is the message that they left. That, you have the program, whatever it is, the package that you have at Spectrum is going to run out by the end of today. And if you do not, we're going to shut your service off. What? You've got to be kidding me. So I looked at the phone number, and it was from Texas. It's like, okay. So I went out, and I save everything. So I got 6 months' worth of the Spectrum bills and checked all the phone numbers to see if this matches. No, it didn't match. And I knew my bill was long since paid. It's like, all right, what's up? So I called them, and they said, oh, yeah, that's a scam. And it was a pretty good one because they said they were from Spectrum, and it was the number wasn't one of theirs, but they're like, wow. So they were all notified of that's going on because I hadn't heard that one either. Boy.
Oh, I wish people would just stop it with the scams.
Yeah, this really was legitimate. They had a phone number, and wow. I got hacked before. That's a whole other story. And I had to change credit cards and nice account number. Oh, it was terrible. So at least I got ahead of this one.
All right. Well, thanks for tipping us off. Hopefully you save some of our listeners a bit of aggravation. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. You have a good weekend, Bob.
Thank you. 11:45. We have the information that would save you aggravation. See that kind of information? Won't get scammed again. Morning, you're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Bob. It's Bob from Port Dick.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. Just wanted to give you a little update on the little brouhaha we had going on over at Binghamton University.
Right. Did you finally have your meeting with President Harvey Stenger?
That's a good one. Our last show was this last Wednesday because of the constraints of school year academia tests and things. So that was it for us, our last show of the year. We were successful in bringing on Paul Levy, who is a former trustee at the University of Pennsylvania Law School. And he spent about 35 minutes informing our listeners and ourselves about what actually happened to Professor Wax. So it was a great show. I hope you were able to at least hear part of it, but I'll put it on a podcast at some point. But I feel like mission accomplished. We were able to do a workaround from the censors over at BU that were trying to keep us from getting any of that information on the air. And we were successful. We got a nice write-up in Pipe Dream. I think there's another article brewing about, headed for Press Connects, and maybe something in the Philadelphia Inquirer as well. So I want to thank all our cross listeners who listen to both shows, and hopefully we'll be on again maybe next semester.
All right. And after you've had a chance, I know he's really busy now as he wraps up his North American Goodwill Tour, but when you do meet with President Stenger, after you meet, give me a call and let me know, if you reached any kind of an agreement so this type of thing won't happen in the future.
Bob, how long can you hold your breath?
Not very.
Me neither.
All right. Well, hope springs eternal.
Well, if he won't answer Professor Wax directly when she writes him,
Well, that I understand. I think I understand why he wouldn't respond to her directly, because he's afraid then, if no matter what his response, whether it's polite or no matter what the tone of his response, it's going to wind up on the front page of the New York Post and then on Fox News and Newsmax. So I don't blame him for not responding to her, but he certainly, I think, ought to respond to you, or if not respond, because again, you put stuff in writing, then it winds up in the newspaper. If it's on the front page of the newspaper, then it really hits the fan. But he should at least
no response at all.
Well, yeah, but again, in this day and age, the stuff will be used against you. So that's why, whether it's a university president or a talk show host, that's why sometimes people don't respond. It's not because they want to be unresponsive. They just don't want their stuff to be redistributed. I would respond to every bit of email always fast, but then if it winds up on the front page of the New York Post or the front page of the Owego Penny Saver, I don't want that. My responses to people are private. So whether I respond via email or text or by phone or in person, it's a one-on-one response, not unless I say, go ahead and distribute this to everybody in the world. Next thing you know, it's going to be like what happened to Hunter Biden with his laptop. The New York Post, talk about an outlet that has no ethics. New York Post printing everything from Hunter Biden's laptop. What the heck is wrong with them?
Righteousness needs no cover.
Well, what can I say? It's, Anyway, yeah, keep me posted. If you wind up actually meeting with President Stenger, actually meet with him, and then after the meeting say, how about just propose this and do it in a very informal manner, because, if you do it in a way that, he sees it as non-threatening, say, how about, since we had a good meeting, how about you and I come in on Monday morning to the Binghamton Now program, and then we can talk about it with Bob.
Your tongue remains in your cheek, Bob.
Firmly. Until the surgeons rip it out. It's right there in cheek. Anyway, have a great weekend, Bob.
So, thank you.
Thank you. If there's a chance in Halstead of that happening. Oh, yes, President Stenger will see you now. No, he won't. Hi, WNBF, you're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Marge from Endicott.
Hi, what's up?
Well, two things on the previous callers regarding the vet. Don't use feelings to judge a person. You go on the internet and check on him. He's written 3 books. One was on Woke Incorporated, Inside Corporate America Social. Another one was Capitalist Punishment, How Wall Street is Using Your Money to Create a Country You Didn't Vote. And the other one, the other gentleman talking about fluoride. Fluoride is a poison. If he checks his toothpaste tube, and it says right here, if it's accidentally swallowed, get medical help or contact the Poison Control Center right away. So, that's probably if you ate a lot, but still, it is sort of a poison, and that's probably one reason why Kennedy might want to take that out. So, educate yourself on things before you have feelings about something.
All right. Well, I appreciate the call.
Okay, thank you.
11:52 at WNBF and the WNBF.com. WNBF.com. We mentioned earlier the story about the Mexican restaurant there on Vestal Avenue, so you can check that out. We also have, we did an update on Washington Avenue, so if you want to see what Washington Avenue now looks like, see, the project is almost done. It's not completely done. There still are a few things that need to be completed, but if you want to see some pictures and a new video of the improved Washington Avenue, go to WNBF.com. It's 11:53. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning there, Bob. Dave from Vestal. I listened to the whole show, Bob. Lots of whining from the liberals. I expected that once Trump won. I always relate things, Bob. You know, with me, with music and songs, then I do lots of writing. Remember Little River Band? Have you heard about the liberal losers? They're all losers, and they just keep on crying. I had to get that on the air, Bob. That makes me feel better.
That's why we're here.
Don't worry about Gates, Bob. He'll do a good job because he's going to get in one way or the other. I know people.
No, here's what I say. He ain't going to get into any job in the federal government, but he is going to be on Fox News channels or on Newsmax.
No, I think he'll end up being.
No, he won't. No, he won't.
Okay, so should we bet your favorite drink there, Bob?
I don't bet. And by the way, even though I said that with some forcefulness to give the illusion that I know what I'm talking about, let the record show most of the predictions I've made since the program started have been inaccurate, but that doesn't stop me. I'm still insistent. Let the record show at 11:54 a.m. on November 15th, 2024, I said 3 times, no, he won't be confirmed as Attorney General. And then I'm sure the day after he's confirmed as Attorney General, you and everybody else can call in and play back the tape, and I can deny I ever said it.
Well, if Thune will play ball, they'll get him in.
Thune, in my opinion, Thune isn't going to play ball on this one. Thune will play ball on many things. On this one, fortunately for Matt Gaetz, his record precedes him, and it's not just. Trust me, it's not just about the specific allegations a lot of people are focused on. It's a far bigger record. If that was the only thing, he might get confirmed. But the guy is not very well liked in many circles, and I think that's one of the reasons, not the only reason, that's one of the reasons I don't think he's going to get confirmed. But as they often say, time will tell. 11:56 WNBF. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Bob. It's DJ.
Yeah, what's up?
I agree with you. Hey, I agree with you as far as Matt Gaetz, because he's not only because he's controversial, it's got nothing to do with it, but people are saying that he's going to cut this, cut Social Security, cut everything. And I don't see him getting in there either. But there's good picks, though. There are good, there are good picks that are going to go through.
Well, some of the picks will go through. I think at least a couple are not going to go through, and I think I happen to believe that Matt Gaetz isn't going to be approved, and I don't think Tulsi Gabbard's going to be approved.
Oh, because she was a Democrat. You think that's why?
No, because of things she has said and done. No, it has nothing to do with her past party affiliation. I can understand, it actually makes sense for President-elect Donald John Trump to choose potentially either former or even current Democrats for his administration. If he can find any current Democrat who's willing to work in his administration, he should actually find one. And that way he can say, I have assembled a bipartisan team. So, find a former Democrat, but even better, find a current Democrat who is willing to work with you. I mean, so obviously it's not going to be Chuck Schumer and it's not going to be Nancy Pelosi, but there has to be at least one Democrat in the U.S. who'd be willing to work in the Trump administration. So have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. Hey, God bless you.
And that is sadly all the time we have for this week. However, I encourage you to enjoy your weekend, relax, have a good time, and then return here. We will reconvene Monday morning at 9:10 with Binghamton Now. I'm Bob Joseph on News Radio, WNBF.